Hello, everyone. Day 13. Meditation challenge or meditation. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? All right. So, again, day 13, 100-day meditation experience. What am I seeing today? Well, what I'm seeing today is that it is beneficial to get sleep. I do feel that at high levels of consciousness that we are able to transcend sleep. Um, and I do know that it is a piece of our growth that regardless of the amount of sleep that we have, or whatever activities are going on in our lives, to be able to completely stay focused and centered and do our thing is possible. And like I said, it's good for our growth. That being said, at certain stages, at certain levels of development, which is also where I feel that I am right now, or where I have a feeling that I am, I feel like sleep is a good thing. I noticed today I did my meditation, as has been lately, the wee hours of the morning, and just seemed very unfocused today. I was doing, as part of it is just basic breathing. I started counting my breaths, things like that, and started getting higher and higher numbers. My focus started waning a little bit, and very resistant to staying in the same spot. I know yesterday I talked about the 2 hour block where I stayed the exact same position the entire time, the excruciating pain. And today I just didn't feel like dealing with that. Now again, the fact that I felt like it or don't feel like it, or excuse me, feel like it or don't feel like it shouldn't make any difference whatsoever. And we just roll with it anyway. But for whatever reason, I allowed that to take over today, and I kind of changed positions, moved my feet a bit, moved my legs. At one point, kind of bent down forward, so my forehead on the ground, and breathe that way. Just anything to kind of keep myself going, keep myself focused. And then when I was done, I just felt a significant amount of fatigue, and so decided to just lie down for a moment, rest, and woke up hours later, like, oh shit, I haven't done my scope yet. Let's get up and broadcast that. So I do feel that with high quality regular sleep, it would just make the whole process much easier, and stay focused much easier, and all the above. So, for whatever that's worth, as you're beginning, if you are meditating, and I get this sometimes too, just feeling like, nodding off and going to sleep for a few minutes, I recommend doing that. Again, at the beginning levels. At high levels, then we want to stay where we are doing what we're doing, regardless of what feelings come up for us. But at the beginning levels, I know, in fact, when I first started meditating in college, I would just sit on the edge of my bed and relax and breathe. And there would come times when I just felt like wanting to go to sleep. And so I would just lay over and go to sleep for a little bit, wake up, and then, sit and breathe a little bit more. And the more I did that, and just kind of allowed my body to do whatever it felt like doing, the deeper and deeper I was able to get. And I got to this point, actually had a wonderful experience for like a day and a half where I felt like, or I experienced life as kind of a third party from behind me, like I was just watching myself go through life. It was a very deep place of peace and centeredness, as just this massive observer of me doing my thing. Um, so, like I said, both schools of thought. And all that said, also at the beginning, just whatever helps you to stay focused and stay present. And I feel that high quality rest and sleep and being in a good place when you do your meditation, physically, mentally, etc., does significantly help. Again, that being said, meditation is about allowing yourself to be present where you are, no matter what is going on. And so, where you are, have the experience that you have, and as much as you can, staying present, staying focused helps. And so, I will definitely acknowledge that today I let my emotions, thoughts, feelings, fatigue, lack of focus, etc., get the better of me, for sure. So, what else am I seeing? I guess the other thing that came up for me today is kind of an extension of we talked about yesterday. Hello. Just talking about my meditation experience and what's going on for me. So if you guys have any questions about meditation or spirituality, life in general, whatever, just feel free to chime in. Any comments, anything like that, chime in, and I will answer or contribute as best I can. So this other idea that came up for me, I talked yesterday about the idea of unconditional love and how we tend to have... Right on. I don't speak that language, but it is great to see you anyway, and I'm glad you're here. If you speak English, if you can translate, that'd be awesome. If not, still feel free to keep watching and understand as best you can. So, unconditional love. Ah, gotcha. No, speak français. Sorry. Actually, last night a similar situation came up. I can, bonjour, merci de rien, je m'appelle Alan. It's about all I got. But enjoy to the best of your ability, regardless. So we talked about this idea of unconditional love. That's all I got. Yeah, sorry. I could do it again. Bonjour, merci de rien, je m'appelle Alan. But thank you anyway. So anyway, the idea of unconditional love. Yesterday I talked about, and we tend to live most of our life with this conditional love, saying, things, doing things. This may or may not be Alan. We may or may not be conscious of it. What's up? Doing well? We may or may not be conscious of it, but most of the things we tend to do desire to get a response from somebody. Most of the time we, say hello to get that hello back. We give love so that we can then get love back. We, in a relationship, we keep doing things. I'm working on a 13-day meditation challenge. A 100-day meditation challenge. Basically this is day 13, and I meditate for 2 hours a day, sometimes in a solid block, sometimes split apart throughout the day, and then explain, what my insights are, what my observations are, what my experience is, in hopes to enlighten both myself and those that are watching, and possibly also excite you guys or incite you guys to have your own meditation challenge. I really feel that, your own meditation experience. I really feel that this awakening of human consciousness, this help. Hey, what's up? You doing all right? That the next level of humanity will come through awakening our inner self and letting go from the Woodlands, Texas. It's north of Houston, Texas, just a little bit. And as we awaken this deep inner sense of self, I feel and separate ourselves from who we think we are, this surface level of existence, our thoughts and our emotions, things like that, and awaken this observer consciousness. That's going to just help to vault right on, humanity to the next level. So you guys feel free to continue to type in any comments or chats or whatever. I am going to jump in and finish that train of thought I was on, though, about the loving unconditionally. But I welcome all of you guys, bonjour, on here. And so, yeah, yesterday I talked about unconditional love and the idea of loving without needing to get any particular response. Simply, God bless you too. I'm actually kind of leaning towards Bernie Sanders, but that's a discussion for another time. Anyway, unconditional love. I will be on topic and stay focused this time. We give to get a response. We typically say hello because we want that person to say hello back, or we do something caring in a relationship sometimes because we know that that will be reciprocated. We want them to do something back for us. Now, that's not to say that all actions and all relationships are that way. Very often we do things in relationships simply to do them. We give something to give. We do something special for the people in our lives just to do something special without any thought of anything in return. But if we're honest with ourselves, we look at ourselves deep inside, a lot of times we do also do things to get that response back. And when we don't get that response back, then a subtle bitterness and resentment begins to surface. And so as we notice that in ourselves, basically just recognizing and allowing ourselves to change. And remember, oh, that's because I have conditional love. That's because I did this thing to try and get this response. The more we notice that, the more we can shift and say, you know what, I choose to give this unconditionally. I choose to do this unconditionally. And if I get a response back, great. If I don't get a response back, that's okay too. If somebody's watching, great. If somebody's not watching, great. And that's a much more pure way to live. As we give that way, our soul opens up, we awaken inside, and then we allow the people in our lives to be as they are without needing them to show up any particular way. So then our own bitterness, anger, resentment, etc. doesn't get created, and then that doesn't get projected out into the world. Well, that concept of loving unconditionally, for me, has kind of, in my awareness, expanded to this idea of living unconditionally. It's not just about love. It's also about all the activities in our life. I've noticed, for example, when I'm doing, tutoring, I do math and physics tutoring as part of the way that I generate income. And there are times when a student will be really into it and they're ready and they're asking questions and they care about what they're doing, and that gets me more into it and I feel the energy and I'm ready to help and serve and do what I can do. And there's times when kids come in and they're just not really, don't care that much, and they're still good kids, but they just don't care about what they're doing. They would rather be somewhere else, all the above, and that whole energy just exudes their being, and they're here, but they're not here. And I sense that, and I have allowed that to make myself stay in a state of, or be in a state of, whatever, I'm kind of half-hearted, I'll help you out, let's do this formula, let's do this thing. But if you're not willing to be here, then I don't really feel it either. And that is a conditional experience. That is a conditional giving. If you feel this way, if you're exuding this energy, then I give you this. Yeah, if you're exuding that energy, then I give you that. And that's ultimately an unserving way to live. I see that now. If I, with scope, if there's somebody watching, at least I can kind of recognize and alluded to this last night as well. If there's somebody watching, then there's a piece of my energy that can kind of ramp up and like, oh, cool, there's somebody here and I'm talking and I'm giving. If there's not anybody watching, there was a little bit sometimes of a dip in my energy level. If we have a passion for something, if we have a dream, a mission, something that we desire to really accomplish or a message we desire to share, and somebody is listening to that message, it gives us excitement, it gives us joy, and gives us a desire to keep going and spreading and sharing and saying what we can. If we're giving our message and we're giving our heart, and people look at us like, what the hell are you saying? What are you doing, man? They don't care at all. They're not listening. That can be very much a downer for us. And that can cause us to not talk as much, to not give our mission as much, to doubt ourselves. All of those things are just conditional ways of living. If this thing, right on, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I do not speak Russian, so I don't understand what that means. But still, please feel free to stay. If you speak English, great. Or just stay and receive the energy. So this idea of living unconditionally, we've all of us have in one form or another, like I said, if we have this mission that we're trying to accomplish, and people are here and listening, we're ready to give our mission and jump into life, and share our passion. If they're not, then it can cause us to kind of like, oh, well, I guess maybe, it's not important, and maybe I should just give up because nobody's listening, and that is a very conditional way of experiencing life, a conditional way of giving, a conditional way of living. And what I've really begun to see is that life is here for us to live unconditionally. If we have a dream, if we have a mission, then just jump out in the world and give it. If anybody's listening or not. In fact, look at history. Some of the greatest things have been accomplished by people that were far ahead of their time, and nobody in their time period listened to them. Some greatest artists, I think it was either, I want to say it was Van Gogh or, one of the famous artists. Let's say Van Gogh right now. Sold, I feel like, one painting throughout their entire life and ended up dying feeling that they were a complete and total failure. Yet now they're a world-renowned artist, and their paintings are in museums and sell for, I'm sure, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars each if you can even get an original. How many movements of people when they first started, people, like think about all the civil rights stuff. People were kicked on and spat on and not understood and derided for what their beliefs were, what their thoughts were, but it didn't matter. They believed something inside, and they kept going, and they kept going. So unconditionally, regardless of what the outside world said, they kept moving, they kept moving, they kept moving, and they changed the world. So I would offer that you notice inside of yourself ways that you are living conditionally. Ways that you are like, oh, I'll give this if this happens, but if not, then I'm not really feeling it. And, if it's something that serves you and serves the world, whether it's living with a passion, or whether it's something simple like putting yourself completely into your job, regardless of whether you're having a good day or a bad day. Whatever it is that you're doing, if it's petting your dog with enjoyment when you're having a good day, or that's just silly, but I mean, or, being like, screw it, I'll deal with you later if you're not having a good day. And like I said, that's a simple, tiny example, but the point is, small levels or big levels, whatever it is that you're doing with life, do it unconditionally. Live unconditionally. Put your full self out there as much as you possibly can, regardless of your thoughts, your feelings, your circumstances. And I feel that you and the rest of us will have an increasingly better experience in life. I do certainly acknowledge that there are times when we feel like it, and there are times when we don't. And I, believe me, I understand. I have noticed, though, the bits that I begin to follow this philosophy, my growth as a human being, my growth in my soul starts awakening exponentially the more I can just continue to put myself out there and put myself out there, regardless of what I'm actually feeling. Tired or not tired, if I get up and I live my life to the best of my ability that day, there's something inside of me that shifts, something that awakens, and there's a piece of my soul that grows bigger and brighter. So acknowledging what we have and moving forward anyway. Something that I find really helps with that is a practice, and I may talk about this a little bit more tomorrow, but just really simple right now, and I have acknowledgement instead of I am. What I mean by that is if we have tiredness. Saying I am tired is, well, I mean, say that. Just repeat with me for a moment. I am tired. 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 How do you feel, right? You feel tired. Duh. But instead, if you take ownership of it, and it's not something you're experiencing, it's something that you have. So say instead, I have tiredness. 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 It allows you to take ownership of that feeling. Just, I have tiredness. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I have tiredness. And so it's nothing that it's nothing that you have to experience anymore, or it's nothing that you are locked into. It's nothing that you are. It's just something that you have, and something that you have is much more easy to drop. So, for example, like if I am this watch, then if I have this watch, maybe I'll put some first chakra awareness. I'll give you that. So if I have this watch, then I can set this watch down. If I am this watch, that's a whole different experience, right? So if I am angry, then it's much more difficult to shift my experience. If I have anger, then, oh, okay, I have anger, I have annoyance, I have whatever, and it's much easier to accept what is and shift, and like I said, continue to live unconditionally and put our best self out there regardless of whatever external stuff is happening in our lives. Much easier to ignore the crap and roll with the positive stuff. So, that's what I have this evening. If any of you guys have any questions, comments, all of the above, on meditation, spirituality, life in general, please feel free to jump in and ask, and I will answer as best as possible. I feel like I could give, hey, what's up? Are you doing well? I feel like I can give a better explanation of that I am. So that's something that I will most likely play with tomorrow. For now, though, like I said, just remembering that having something allows us to take ownership, to step behind it, awaken that observer consciousness, and then recognize that it's not us, right? We are not our bodies. We are not our minds. We are the observer of our bodies and our minds. And so thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, or whatever that we're experiencing don't need to control us. It's not, I am this thing. It's, I have this thing. And like I said, that awakens this sense of ownership to our experience in life, and a reminder that we need not be controlled by any of it. It's just something that we have, not who we are. And so we can stand up strong and give and live to the highest of our ability, regardless of what our current experience is. So just for what that's worth, a great practice. Anything that you're going on in life, watch your language, and as you say, I am this, which we do all the time in conventional speaking, shift. Oh, I have this thing, I have anger, I have tiredness. In fact, actually, as stuff comes up in your life, regardless of what you actually say verbally, if you notice inside yourself that thoughts are going on all the time, just, oh, I have thoughts right now, I have a lot of thoughts right now. Just say that a couple times to remind yourself that it's just some experience you're having. It's not really you, and you don't have to follow them. Or if you have a pain come up on your shoulder. Oh yeah, I have a pain in my shoulder right now. Okay, yeah, I have a pain in my shoulder. And just acknowledging it gives it its space to be heard. It also, rather than saying I am in pain, I have pain, lets you retain your ownership of it. Lets you retain your observer consciousness and your awareness that things need not control you. They need not affect you in that way. So I hope that serves. If you guys have enjoyed this, please feel free to tap on the screen, whether it's live or replay, and give me some hearts. Please feel free to follow as well. There's another 87 days of this, so, and then who knows what'll happen beyond that. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook as well, please feel free to like the broadcast. And you can go to catch.me/ground_divinity to get all the ones with the different chat boxes. And so as I'm talking to people, you can get an idea of what they're saying, to know what my response is, why I'm saying what I'm saying. You can follow the whole conversation. So have a wonderful day, a blessed week, blessed year, blessed life, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.